Alright, I think it's all fixed at last. Should be. Hopefully the resolution's a little bit higher. Doesn't look like it is. So maybe I'm just a moron. I don't understand at all. This thing it's so dumb. Okay. Why is it on 360? I don't understand that at all. I'm pretty sure I have no idea how to do this. Gosh, YouTube is amazing. Just perfect. It's really great. What went wrong? Let's see, video. I mean, it's outputting as 1920, so I don't know why YouTube is showing 360 as the highest resolution it can offer. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I'm gonna check the stream and just see if it worked. So let me just check. I mean yeah, it's streaming in HD. Okay, that's good. So that's what I was hoping for. Okay, so now that I know that is finally actually like working, let's just get this thing started. So basically what I want to do is I want to create two sort of materials, maybe, and I want to apply a certain material based on if they have the virus or not. That's basically the premise. So if they have it, I'm gonna want some kind of, so like infected, or actually, yeah, first I'll just create healthy. So if they're healthy, we're gonna have an albedo of I don't know, maybe blue. That seems like a healthy color, like that. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, so if they're healthy, we want blue albedo, and if they're unhealthy, we want red. And because they're healthy, when they reach someone, they're not going to infect anybody. So basically, the idea is, if you're infected, you're going to run the infected script, and if you're healthy, you're just going to run the part of it that doesn't pertain to infected characters. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to write a script here. Let's create a C# script. We'll call this, let's see, what should I call this? Let's just call this like, oops. Oh, okay. Sticky keys. Yeah, let's call this population manager. So what this script is going to do is this is just going to manage all of the population, give us statistics about it, and then we'll also create another one. We'll call this individual. And what this one's going to do is it's just going to let us sort of control the way in which this capsule, you know, interacts with the others, and also just, you know, sort of moves about. So let's just save this. I don't know what I want to call this. Let's just call this, okay, we're over here. Actually, yeah, let's just leave this as sample scene. I don't really care. So Now that we have that done, let's just open up the individual script, and we can get started figuring out what we're going to do from here. And I think what I'm going to start by doing is just sort of moving them around randomly. And then if they hit each other, we're just going to sort of move them back. I think there's actually a method of moving the rigid body and taking into account physics without doing like a kinetic movement. So that's what I'm probably going to look to do here. But I'm not sure yet. I just have to wait for Visual Studio to catch up here. If this could ever... Alright, there we go. So, basically, in here, we're going to have the rigid body, and let's just say rigid body RB, and then we'll say if this dot get component rigid body. I haven't done this in a little bit, so just expect this to take a little bit longer. RB equals this dot get component rigid body. Alright, so actually here, let's just say, yeah, this is fine. I feel like there's a way to just like straight up require that. I don't remember. Let me check. I can't remember how you require a component for a script. Oh, okay. So say require component type of rigid body. Alright. Basically just, you know, if we don't have a rigid body, we want to just force this, you know, to break, because we don't want to have to, you know, execute a check every time we go through this. So we're going to store our rigid body in this RB variable, just so we don't have to call this .get component each time, because that's really memory heavy and we're going to be running a ton of these things. So for the individual, what we want to do is we want to say RB dot, I think it's, yeah, move position. I think this takes a vector 3. So we'll probably say mathf dot random, is that, no, it's probably math dot, yeah, math. Okay, where, yeah, what's random under? Is that under its own thing? Yeah, it is. Okay. Random dot range, yeah. Alright, so we'll do random dot range -1, 1. Shouldn't that? Oh, yeah. Just in case. And then 0, random dot range, and we'll do the exact same thing. And that should be correct. Why is that not? Do I need the constructor? Gosh, I'm so rusty. Alright. Yeah, that's what we needed. Okay, so now if I start this up, we should see this thing just start to sort of, yeah, so it's moving a lot. But we can just multiply this by time.delta time, and that'll fix all these problems. And hopefully we'll get some really nice controlled movement. So you can see it kind of move for a second there. I don't know. It seems like it's moving. It's just moving in so many random directions that it's kind of short-circuiting here. So let's make this more like 5 times this, or maybe 10. I don't know how many frames I'm running, and hopefully that'll get things working a little bit more smoothly here. Okay, so that looks insane, but you know, whatever. So what I'm thinking is actually what we can do here is just, so let's get this. And we'll say in start, dir 3, direction equals new, yeah. And so then basically we'll just create a direction vector. And then in here, we can just say, you know, direction. And now every time we run this, it's going to start in a different direction, right? So, okay, we have an error. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know what I'm doing here. So let's just copy, paste this outside. Oh, whoops. There we go. Yeah, we want that outside of that scope. Okay. So we got that. Let's play this. Doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to here. It's kind of weird. We're getting some strange results from that. I'm not really sure why. Here, let me try. Let's make this one 0 for a second. And it's not really doing what I want it to here. Okay then. Darn it, this is quite frustrating. On start, do that. And then, okay, fine. Let's try this. So let's see. This dot transform dot position dot, or actually, sorry, this dot transform dot that translate. Thought it would autofill to that, but I guess not. That should theoretically move the way we want it to. We're just gonna slog through this. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so I think the issue is for some reason using the rigid bodies themselves is not working. But we'll get to that later, I guess. And now, if I run this, you'll see we'll get some different sort of movements here. So you can see that time it went that way. This time it's going this way. And basically just, if we keep doing this, you know, it's just going to go in a different direction each time at a different speed. So that's alright. But actually what I want to do is I want to try here changing the speeds. So we'll say, you know, minimum speed of 0, maximum speed of 2, or sorry, probably a 10 actually. And you'll see it's kind of going to move a little bit differently here. Yeah, so it sort of, you know, just looks a little bit more natural. So you can see if I were to just sort of zoom out, you can see the movement speed is now variable. So now what I want to do is I want to set up collisions to sort of change the direction. And so the way in which we're going to do this is a series of checks. So we're going to use collision detectors for the objects themselves, but here I'm going to say if dot transform dot position dot x is greater than, let's get some boundary. So I scaled this up by 10. which means that this should be 100 in each direction. So we'll say greater than 100. This is going to be really painful, though. Okay, let's just do f dot absolute value and we'll do the greater than 100 outside, and then we'll say direction dot x equals, or no, sorry, times equals -1. So we can just flip it, and then here we'll grab this and we'll just replace this with z, and you can see if we do that, I think it should stay in the boundaries at all times now. So let's focus on the capsule just for a sec. Zoom out here, and you can see okay, well, it didn't. That's gosh, I am screwing everything up right now a little. It didn't change the direction, unfortunately, and I'm not honestly sure why. Transforms, it checks. Okay, actually, let's check before we do the transform, and then on top of that, basically we just need to figure out why that didn't trigger at all. So this dot transform dot position dot x is greater than 100. We want to change direction dot x to be -1 times itself, and in theory that reverses us to go back the other direction. That's just not working in practice. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So we're heading towards the edge, and we get there, and then we just keep going. So let's try constraining this to a smaller scale, perhaps, just to see if doing that sort of lets us get a better picture of what's going on here. Okay, so it is working, yeah. So you can see we're sort of bouncing around inside of the boundary. And, okay, so it's this direction specifically. The only question, oh, okay, that's really stupid of me. I never changed that bit to be Z, and so we were just heading off in a totally incorrect direction. So you can see now, if we get to the edge, should be like the DVD logo kind of, we'll just bounce back in. Okay, perfect. So what's happening now is this one person, that we're simulating, just sort of bounces around within the area that we've set. And now what we want to do is we want to spawn in more of these procedurally. So in order to do that, we're going to go into our manager script, and we're going to create a prefab for this one as well. That's what we really want to do here. So we'll take this capsule and we'll put it out here, and we'll make this a person. And in the population manager, we'll create a prefab for the person. So we'll say game object person. And then we'll take our person and we'll instantiate a certain number of them. So we'll say public void population equals public, I don't know why I said void, public int population equals, and we'll spawn in like 10 of them right now. And so we do that. Oh, I don't know why I said F. So we'll spawn in 10. So we'll say int I is less than population. Just a for loop, right? We'll loop through, and for each of those we'll say game object dot instantiate, and then we'll pass in a person. And we're gonna want to specify some things here. So first off, we'll create a list of game objects, and we'll call this people, and make this a new list of game objects. And for each of these, we're gonna say people dot add. Okay, I thought it would select that. There we go. So we're gonna add them to the list, so that we have a reference for later on. So we've done that, and now we should have a spawner here. Oh, I need to attach it to something actually in the scene. We'll call this just a game object, basically. We'll put this on script class cannot be found. What are you talking about? Okay. Not sure. Oh, okay. I don't know what's wrong with Unity that it didn't name this correctly. So let's call this population manager and save. And now if I run this, we should see that I can, hopefully once this compiles someday, add this on. So you can see it's now there. Population is set to 10, and if I click it, we get, well, it doesn't look like it spawned in anything, so we'll figure that out now, I guess. With 10 people. So it's supposed to instantiate. Oh, I didn't specify the person prefab actually. Did I not make that? I did not make that game object public. So that's done. Can now drag our person onto here. And oh gosh, okay, so it's spawning them at random locations because we didn't specify that. So here's what I'm going to want to do. I'll take this and is there actually in the instantiate function, can I think I can probably specify a position for the instantiation. Let me look at the docs for a second here. So instantiate, we can do a transform or a position of some kind. So we're gonna say new vector 3 as our position vector. I don't know. Let's get that. So we're gonna do a new vector 3, and we will make that and I don't know why I put that outside of this. We're going to make this vector random.range. We'll make this the range of our region. So we'll say negative 100 100f, right? And then we'll say random.range negative 100f 100f, and we want this middle variable to be 0. And why am I? What did I screw up with the brackets? Darn it. Okay. Got this outer bracket. Okay, I don't know. It's saying it wants a transform, so, but I don't think it says over here in their docs that you can do a okay. So this is the closing bracket for the vector 3. So we can say quaternion dot identity and get the origin and just get a 0 quaternion. It should spawn these in. Yeah, it spawns them in at random locations. Half of them fall off because well, I don't honestly know, but they're all sort of moving around. That one fell off. These two hopefully won't. I don't know why. I think the speeds on some of these are a little bit too high. Okay, they all fell off, so I'm not really sure this time what I screwed up. I think it's in the script I didn't. No, I did make it 100. Alright. Not entirely sure what's going on there. But we'll get it all sorted. That's why this is a long process. Okay. What did I screw up this time? That is the crucial question here. Let's see. So we started out this. Yeah, see, I'm just like confusing myself right now. This is insane. But hey, this is coding, honestly. So, hi Bruno. How are you doing? I hope my microphone is working, that everybody can hear when they show up, if they show up. Okay, so I think this should be probably more like, let's set like a tolerance here. Let's make this more like 90, just so we don't like fall off the edge every time. And see if that maybe works a little bit better. Okay, that's good to hear. This is a different kind of stream than the one I usually do. Well, I'm honestly not sure. So, you probably saw the title. Basically, the problem is so I have this math.abs function I'm using to get essentially how far outside of the origin the individuals are. And then the goal is just to basically change their initial direction vector, which is actually just a random velocity that happens to, you know, create direction, and just reflect the component of that is leading them off the edge. Because obviously if they're going off in one direction and you reflect that direction, then they will, you know, come back into the main area. The problem is, it's just not doing that. I'm not honestly sure why that is at the moment. But we're going to figure it out eventually. Let's see. So we got X. I'm not sure. It was working literally moments ago. Now all of a sudden, when I'm using the prefab, they're just falling apart here. So not sure what's going on there. I've got my initial individual here, and I don't know if this one works, if it's just the others that are broken. If the others are broken and this one isn't, I don't even know what to say. Because it seems like this should work. It definitely seems to me that this is correct. I'm just not sure why it's not doing what I want it to. Let me try a smaller area. See what happens. This definitely should be working. I think what may be happening is that if they're moving fast enough, this thing changes the direction 2 times, and then it sort of basically flips itself back and just keeps doing that. That looks to be what's happening, because like this one is just sort of broken. Let's just put it inside. Yeah, it looks like it works, but if they're moving too fast, they get caught on the edge and sort of glitch out. So we found the problem, I guess. The solution is probably just to slow them down a little. And maybe if I need to, I can increase the tolerance for this and just make it like frame dependent so that they don't trigger twice while they're still outside the zone. So let me make this, 100 again, or more like 95. Do I need to transform the movement inside? No, so basically the movement is being transformed by this here. The reason being, I want them all to sort of move sort of like particles. I just want them to sort of flow in a direction until they hit either the boundary or each other. So my plan right now is basically just let them move according to this direction vector. And so I only need these 2 checks here. And then based on those, I can change the direction vector and change their behavior with the one translate statement. So that's how I'm approaching this. It may not be the best way to do it, but it's whatever I've come up with, I guess. They're still moving off the edge though, sort of. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit too much speed I'm giving them here. Maybe I need to decrease the juice that they have. See, like, this is what's confusing to me, is like sometimes they're working, but like I mean, that one just didn't respond at all. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about the dimensions. Oh, okay. I know what the issue is. So I am stupid. The dimension of the platform is not 100. It's actually 100 across, so it's 50 in each direction. So that's what's wrong. They're not responding because once they get to the edge, nothing's changing. So I think if I spawn them inside of a 50 by 50 area, it'll work now. I don't think I need the F's after the numbers technically. Alright. Let's do this. See if it fixes things a little. Yeah, it definitely, that fixed it all. So now you can see they're sort of congregating a little bit. And I think if I go into my manager and I make this more like 100, you'll see it kind of looks like a real kind of population just congregating a little bit. And they're sort of interacting with the border in a natural way.